Welcome back to COCO Gossip, your number one source for diving deep into the hidden truths behind reality television. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on what might be the most calculated deception in Sister Wives history, a story simmering just beneath the surface, waiting to explode. We're talking about a secret so dark, it threatens to unravel the very fabric of the Brown family's carefully constructed on-screen image. At the center of it all is a stunningly valuable object. A rifle Kody Brown has proudly paraded as a priceless Civil War antique, appraised at a jaw-dropping $75,000. But exclusive insider reports and a meticulous investigation now suggest this treasured heirloom might be nothing more than a cheap replica, and its inflated value, a key component in an audacious and illegal scheme. This isn't just about family drama, it's about a potential felony. Before we unpack this bombshell, if you are as passionate about uncovering the truth as we are, and you want to stay ahead of the curve with the most explosive reality TV exposés, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to COCO Gossip, and ring the notification bell. You won't want to miss a single second of what's coming next, because we are just getting started. To truly understand the gravity of the situation, we need to rewind and look at the Brown family's financial landscape, a terrain that has always been more precarious than the sprawling properties in multiple households would suggest. For years, viewers have watched Kody Brown and his wives navigate a labyrinth of financial challenges. We've seen the moves from Utah to Las Vegas and then to Flagstaff, each relocation presented as a step towards a grander vision, but each one bringing with it a mountain of expenses and logistical nightmares. The dream of Coyote Pass, a sprawling plot of land where 4 custom homes were meant to rise, became a symbol of their aspirations, but also a stark reminder of their financial limitations. The land remained largely undeveloped, a constant source of tension and a drain on their resources. Behind the scenes, the financial picture was even more dire than what was portrayed on camera. There's a documented history of financial instability that paints a very different picture from the one of a successful reality TV family. Both Janelle and Christine had filed for bankruptcy in the years before the show even began, and in 2005, Kody and Mary, his only legal wife at the time, also filed for bankruptcy, citing over $200,000 in debt against a monthly income of less than $5,000. This was a family living perpetually on the edge, a house of cards built on credit and hope. The arrival of Robyn and the subsequent shift in family dynamics only added more financial strain. Courting a new wife, especially one with 3 children from a previous marriage, is an expensive endeavor. Suddenly, there were new pressures, new expectations, and a clear shift in how resources were allocated. The other wives, who had long practiced a form of financial austerity out of necessity, began to see a disparity in Kody's spending. Lavish gifts for Robyn, a desire to provide her with a lifestyle that matched the romance of their courtship, all came at a cost. And that cost was often borne by the family as a whole. Janelle, who had always been a significant contributor to the family pot through her independent work, found her financial input being managed and redirected in ways that caused friction. Christine and Mary, who had long held down the domestic front, managing the household and the needs of a growing brood of children, also felt the pinch. The financial promises of plural marriage, the idea of a collective economic powerhouse, were beginning to fray at the seams. The move to Arizona was perhaps the most significant financial gamble of them all. The purchase of the Coyote Pass property for $820,000 was a massive undertaking, and the subsequent failure to develop it became a glaring symbol of their financial overreach. High mortgage payments on multiple properties, coupled with the ongoing expenses of a large family, created a perfect storm of financial pressure. It is within this context of escalating financial desperation that the story of the $75,000 rifle begins to take on a more sinister hue. This wasn't just a casual acquisition, it was an asset, a significant entry on a list of valuables submitted to their homeowner's insurance company. For a family with a history of bankruptcy and mounting debt, having such a high-value item on their books was a strategic move. It bolstered their net worth, at least on paper, and potentially allowed them to secure a more comprehensive and favorable insurance policy. But what if this valuable asset was, in fact, a carefully crafted illusion? What if the $75,000 rifle was a phantom, a ghost in their financial machine designed to extract value where none existed? This is the explosive question at the heart of our investigation. The first whispers of this story came from an unlikely source, a seasoned antique firearms expert who happened to be a casual viewer of Sister Wives. In one episode, Kody is seen proudly displaying the rifle, boasting of its historical significance and its hefty price tag. To the untrained eye, it was an impressive piece, a tangible link to a bygone era, but to this expert, something seemed off. Certain details, visible even on a television screen, didn't align with what he knew of authentic Civil War-era Sharps rifles. He noticed the sheen of the wood finish, the crispness of the lettering on the barrel, the uniformity of the screws, all small but significant tells that pointed not to a battle-worn antique, but to a modern reproduction. This initial flicker of suspicion ignited a deep dive, a quest to uncover the truth behind Kody Brown's prized possession. And what has been unearthed is a trail of deception that is as shocking as it is meticulously planned. Our investigation began with a crucial piece of paper, the insurance rider for Kody and Robyn's homeowner's policy. Through a confidential source, we obtained a copy of the scheduled personal property rider, the document where high-value items are listed individually to ensure they are covered for their full appraised value. And there it was, in black and white, 1863 Sharps Rifle Historical, with an appraised value of $75,000. This document is the linchpin of the alleged fraud. It's the official declaration to the insurance company, the legally binding statement of value upon which their policy is based. Knowingly misrepresenting an item on this document is not a simple mistake. It's a criminal offense. Armed with this knowledge, we took our investigation to the next level. We compiled a series of high-resolution screenshots of the rifle from the show and presented them to a certified antique firearms appraiser, a man with decades of experience in authenticating historical weapons. He agreed to analyze the images on the condition of anonymity. His assessment was swift and unequivocal. He pointed to a series of undeniable inconsistencies, details that would be invisible to a layperson but were screamingly obvious to an expert. First, he identified what he called modern tooling marks on the metal components of the rifle. He explained that firearms from the Civil War era were manufactured using different techniques, leaving behind distinct markings. The rifle on the show, he noted, bore the telltale signs of 20th century machinery, a smoothness and precision that was simply not possible with the technology of the 1860s. Next, he zeroed in on the screws. It might seem like a trivial detail, but to an appraiser, it's a crucial piece of the puzzle. The screws on Kody's rifle were modern, mass-produced, with a uniformity that betrayed their recent origin. Authentic Civil War-era firearms used screws that were often hand-finished, with slight imperfections that are a hallmark of their authenticity. The serial number font was another major red flag. The appraiser explained that each manufacturer from that period used a specific and consistent font for their serial numbers. The font on the rifle in the screenshots did not match the known examples from the Sharps Rifle Manufacturing Company of that era. It was close, a clever imitation, but ultimately a forgery. His final verdict was damning. The rifle, he concluded, was a well-made but common 20th century replica. He estimated its actual value to be somewhere in the range of $1,500. The $75,000 appraisal was not just an overestimation, it was a fabrication of epic proportions and inflation of value by a staggering 5,000%. The question then became, who was the appraiser who signed off on this wildly inflated value? Our investigation led us to a man who was not a licensed firearms expert, but a general antique stealer. More troublingly, our source confirmed that this appraiser was a personal friend of Kody Brown. This connection raises serious questions about the legitimacy and objectivity of the appraisal process. Was this a case of an appraiser being genuinely mistaken, or was it something far more deliberate? An expert in insurance fraud whom we consulted for this story explained the legal ramifications. Knowingly misrepresenting the value of an item to an insurance company is a textbook case of fraud. It can be done for several reasons: to secure a lower premium, by bundling it with other legitimate high-value items, or more commonly, to set up a higher potential payout in the event of a claim. If the rifle were to be stolen or damaged in a fire, the insurance company would be on the hook for the full $75,000 appraised value, a massive windfall for the policyholder. This is a felony offense, a serious crime with severe consequences, including hefty fines and potential jail time. This story provides a clear and undeniable example of Kody and Robyn potentially engaging in felonious activity for financial gain. For the ex-wives, Christine, Janelle, and Mary, who have spent years navigating the murky waters of the Brown family finances, this revelation is a form of vindication. It provides concrete proof that their financial dealings with Kody were not just messy and chaotic, but were, at their core, fundamentally dishonest. It justifies their decision to sever ties, not just emotionally, but financially, protecting themselves from the liability of being entangled in such a potentially criminal enterprise. But this story is far from over. Exclusive insider reports suggest that the rifle is just the tip of the iceberg, one piece in a much larger and more elaborate puzzle of financial deception. There are whispers of other overappraised assets, of shell companies and hidden accounts, of a complex web of financial maneuvers designed to shield assets and create a facade of wealth. These are, for now, insider reports and exclusive theories, but they paint a disturbing picture of a family patriarch willing to go to extraordinary lengths to maintain his lifestyle, even if it means breaking the law. Our sources suggest that the motivation behind this alleged fraud is a combination of ego and desperation. Kody Brown has always projected an image of himself as a successful businessman, a patriarch providing for his large family. But the reality, as we have seen, is a history of financial struggles and failed ventures. The pressure to maintain this image, to keep up appearances for the television cameras, and for his own sense of self-worth has been immense. The rifle, this symbol of historical significance and monetary value, was a prop in this performance, a way of projecting an aura of wealth and sophistication that the underlying financials simply did not support. Furthermore, the departure of his first three wives has not only been an emotional blow, but a significant financial one as well. With the loss of their income streams and the potential for legal battles over shared assets, the financial pressure on Kody and Robyn has intensified. In this context, a $75,000 asset, even a fraudulent one, becomes a crucial piece of their financial arsenal, a buffer against an uncertain future. This is a story about more than just a gun. It's about a family's descent into a world of secrets and lies, where the line between reality and performance has become dangerously blurred. It's about the corrosive effect of financial desperation and the lengths to which people will go to protect their own interests. And as we continue to peel back the layers of this story, we are uncovering a truth that is far more shocking and complex than anything we have seen on screen. The reckoning for Kody and Robyn Brown may be just beginning. And for the ex-wives, it is a stark and chilling confirmation that they made the right decision to walk away, escaping a web of deceit that could have easily ensnared them as well. The antique firearm, the supposed symbol of history and value, has become a symbol of something else entirely, a monumental fraud that threatens to bring the entire Brown family empire crashing down. As we delve deeper into this labyrinth of deceit, the narrative takes a darker turn, venturing into the realm of what-ifs and could-it-be's. These are the exclusive theories and insider reports that are circulating in the closed circles of former family confidants and production insiders, whispers that are now reaching our ears at COCO Gossip. What if the rifle wasn't just about inflating their net worth for a better insurance policy? What if it was part of a more audacious, a more desperate, a more criminal plan? One of the most explosive theories we've encountered suggests that the rifle was intended to be the centerpiece of a staged robbery. Imagine the scenario: a break-in at Kody and Robyn's home, a ransacking of their possessions, and the theft of the priceless Civil War antique. A police report would be filed, an insurance claim would be submitted, and a check for $75,000 would arrive in the mail. It's a classic insurance scam, a crime that is as old as the insurance industry itself. But in the context of the Brown family's well-documented financial woes, it's a theory that gains a chilling degree of plausibility. Think about it. A $75,000 payout would be a game-changer for a family teetering on the brink of financial collapse. It could pay off debts, fund a new business venture, or simply provide a much-needed cushion of security. And the beauty of it from a criminal's perspective is that it's a clean transaction. The money is legitimate, paid out by a reputable insurance company. It's not the kind of illicit cash that raises red flags. It's a way to launder their desperation into cold, hard, usable currency. And the replica rifle? It would be long gone, stolen in the robbery, its true nature never to be discovered. The only evidence of its existence would be the fraudulent appraisal and the insurance documents, a paper trail that, without the benefit of expert analysis, would appear perfectly legitimate. This theory, as sensational as it sounds, is not without a certain twisted logic. It aligns with the pattern of financial desperation and questionable ethics that we have seen emerge. It's a theory that takes the known facts, the replica rifle, the inflated appraisal, the personal connection to the appraiser, and connects them in a way that is both terrifying and tantalizingly plausible. But the rabbit hole goes even deeper. Another report from a source close to the family suggests that the rifle is not the only replica in Kody and Robyn's collection of valuables. There are whispers of other antiques, of jewelry and artwork, that have also been subjected to similarly inflated appraisals. This raises the possibility of a much larger, more systematic pattern of fraud, a deliberate strategy of creating a portfolio of phantom assets to be leveraged for financial gain. We've heard stories of Robyn's penchant for expensive collectibles, for dolls and figurines that she has amassed over the years. Could some of these items also be part of this alleged scheme? Could they be cheap reproductions passed off as valuable antiques, their inflated values adding to the illusion of wealth that Kody and Robyn have so carefully constructed? The idea of a house filled with fake antiques, a museum of deception, is a powerful and disturbing image. It speaks to a level of premeditation, of a long-term strategy of deceit that is truly mind-boggling. And it raises a crucial question. If this is true, what else are they lying about? What other secrets are hidden behind the carefully curated facade of their on-screen lives? These theories, it must be stressed, they are the product of insider whispers and speculative analysis. But in the world of reality television, where the line between truth and fabrication is often blurred, they are a crucial part of the story. They provide a glimpse into the darker possibilities, the hidden narratives that are often edited out of the final cut, and they force us to reconsider everything we thought we knew about the Brown family. But let's return to the evidence we do have. The solid, verifiable facts that form the foundation of this story, the replica rifle, the $75,000 appraisal, the appraiser, who is a personal friend of Kody's. These are not theories. They are documented facts, and they are enough on their own to paint a damning picture of a family in crisis, a patriarch willing to bend and perhaps even break the law to maintain his grip on power and financial stability. The implications for the ex-wives are profound. For years, they were trapped in a financial system that was opaque and often inequitable. They were expected to contribute to the family pot, but they had little say in how those funds were managed or distributed. They were, in many ways, at the mercy of Kody's financial decisions that were often impulsive and, as we are now learning, potentially illegal. This investigation is a validation of their long-held suspicions, a confirmation that their unease about the family's finances was not just a matter of marital discord, but was rooted in a genuine and justified concern about the integrity of their financial dealings. It is a story that will undoubtedly have legal ramifications. Insurance fraud is a serious crime, and the evidence against Kody and Robyn is compelling. An official investigation by the insurance company and potentially by law enforcement seems inevitable. The paper trail is there, the expert analysis is damning, and the personal connection to the appraiser is a huge red flag. For Kody and Robyn, the road ahead is likely to be a difficult one. They are facing not just public scrutiny and the potential loss of their reality television platform, but also the very real possibility of criminal charges. The $75,000 rifle, the object that was meant to be a symbol of their wealth and status, may very well become the instrument of their downfall. And for the viewers of Sister Wives, this story is a stark reminder that what we see on screen is often just a carefully constructed illusion. Behind the smiles and the carefully scripted family moments, there is often a darker, more complex reality. And it is our mission at COCO Gossip to continue to pull back the curtain, to expose the hidden truths, and to hold those in the public eye accountable for their actions. The story of the antique firearm appraisal fraud is far from over, and we will be here every step of the way to bring you the latest developments, the exclusive theories, and the insider reports that you won't find anywhere else. The web of deceit surrounding the Brown family, and specifically the $75,000 Civil War rifle, is far more intricate and deliberately woven than we first imagined. In the first part of our investigation, we laid out the foundational evidence: the insurance writer listing a replica firearm as a priceless antique, the irrefutable analysis from a certified firearms expert, and the troubling connection between Kody Brown and the appraiser who validated this fiction. But that was merely scratching the surface. What we are about to uncover now goes deeper, exploring the motivations, the methods, and the potential complicity of those in Kody's inner circle. This is where the story transitions from a simple case of alleged fraud into a chilling portrait of a family's moral and financial decay, a decay orchestrated from within and shielded from public view by the very show that made them famous. At the heart of this deception lies a critical question: how could this happen? How could a common replica be so wildly overvalued, and who would be foolish or corrupt enough to sign their name to such a blatant falsehood? The answer, according to our sources, lies with the appraiser himself, a man whose relationship with Kody Brown provided the perfect cover for this audacious scheme. Our investigation into the appraiser reveals a man who is not a nefarious criminal mastermind, but perhaps something far more dangerous, a willing pawn in Kody's game. He is described by those who know him as a small-town antiques dealer with a charismatic personality and a reputation for being a good old me. He deals in a little bit of everything: old furniture, collectible glassware, forgotten Americana, but he is by no stretch of the imagination a specialist in antique firearms. His knowledge of Civil War-era weaponry is said to be cursory at best, gleaned from coffee table books and television shows rather than rigorous academic study or professional certification. This lack of expertise is, in itself, a colossal red flag. Any legitimate insurance company, when underwriting a high-value item like a $75,000 rifle, would typically require an appraisal from a certified specialist in that specific field. The fact that they seemingly accepted this appraisal speaks either to a shocking lapse in their own due diligence or, as one insider theory suggests, the possibility that the rifle was bundled with other, more legitimately appraised items, its fraudulent value slipping through the cracks of a larger policy. The personal friendship between Kody and this appraiser is the key that unlocks this entire puzzle. This wasn't a formal arm's-length business transaction. This was, according to a source who witnessed their interactions, a favor between friends, a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours arrangement shrouded in the guise of a professional service. Kody, with his reality TV fame and his larger-than-life personality, can be an incredibly persuasive and intimidating figure. He has a way of drawing people into his orbit, of making them feel important and valued. It is not difficult to imagine a scenario where he presented the rifle to his friend, perhaps with a wink and a nudge, and simply stated the value he needed. He might have spun a tale of its supposed provenance, a story passed down through generations, a legend that the appraiser, either through ignorance or a desire to please his famous friend, was all too willing to accept at face value. A report suggests there may have been a quid pro quo involved. The appraiser, whose small business could always benefit from a little publicity, was allegedly promised a mention on the show, a brief moment in the spotlight that could translate into a significant boost in customers and local prestige. The $75,000 appraisal was his ticket to a small slice of the sister wives' pie. In this version of events, the appraiser is not just a bumbling incompetent. He is a co-conspirator, a man who traded his professional integrity for a fleeting moment of television fame. But there is another, more sinister theory that has been circulating among those who have witnessed Kody's behavior off-camera. This theory posits that the appraiser was not just persuaded, but pressured. Kody Brown, when his back is against the wall financially, is said to possess a volatile and manipulative streak. He is a master of emotional blackmail, of leveraging relationships to get what he wants. Could he have held some form of leverage over the appraiser? A shared secret, a past debt, a vulnerability that Kody could exploit? We don't have the answers to these questions, but the very fact that they are being asked by people who know him well paints a disturbing picture of a man willing to use any means necessary to achieve his financial ends. This brings us to the elephant in the room, the silent partner in this entire saga, Robyn Brown. While Kody may be the public face of this alleged fraud, the one proudly displaying the rifle for the cameras, it is impossible to believe that Robyn was an unwitting bystander. In fact, multiple sources suggest that she was not just aware of the scheme but was an active and enthusiastic participant, perhaps even the driving force behind it. Robyn's entry into the Brown family marked a seismic shift in their financial culture. She brought with her a taste for the finer things, a desire for a lifestyle that was a far cry from the frugal, make-do existence that the other wives had long accepted. Her extensive collection of precious moments figurines, her desire for a large, custom-built home, her insistence on high-end furnishings, all of these pointed to a woman who equated material possessions with happiness and security. It was Robyn, sources say, who was most acutely aware of the family's precarious financial situation and who was most terrified of losing the comfortable lifestyle that the show had provided. She had experienced financial hardship before her marriage to Kody, and she was determined never to return to that state of uncertainty. This desperation, this deep-seated fear of poverty, is the psychological context for her alleged involvement in the rifle fraud. A $75,000 asset on an insurance policy was more than just a number on a piece of paper. It was a safety net, a buffer against the financial chaos that always seemed to be lurking just around the corner. It was a way to create wealth out of thin air, a magical solution to a very real and pressing problem. An exclusive theory from a former production assistant shed even more light on Robyn's potential role. This source claims to have overheard conversations between Kody and Robyn, where they discussed their valuable assets in a way that seemed coded and secretive. They allegedly referred to the rifle as their nest egg and their emergency fund, language that suggests a premeditated plan to cash in on its fraudulent value at some future point. The source also alleges that it was Robyn who initially found the replica rifle, purchasing it from an online dealer for a fraction of its appraised value. She was reportedly drawn to its convincing appearance, its ability to pass for the real thing, and saw it as the perfect prop for their scheme. If this is true, it recasts Robyn not as a passive accomplice, but as the architect of the fraud, the one who identified the opportunity and set the plan in motion. This narrative aligns with the perception that many viewers have of Robyn as a shrewd and manipulative operator, someone who has always been one step ahead of the other wives, strategically positioning herself to secure the lion's share of Kody's attention and the family's resources. The rifle in this light is just another tool in her arsenal, a weapon in a long and calculated campaign for financial and emotional dominance. The timing of this revelation is not a coincidence. This story is breaking now because the Brown family's wall of silence has finally crumbled. The departure of Christine and then Janelle and finally Mary has created a seismic shift in the power dynamics. For years, the secrets of the family were protected by a code of loyalty, a shared understanding that what happened behind closed doors stayed behind closed doors. But with the dissolution of the plural family, that code has been broken. People who were once loyal insiders, disgruntled former friends, ex-production crew members, even distant family members are now feeling emboldened to speak out. They are no longer bound by their allegiance to Kody or by the fear of disrupting the delicate balance of the family. They are free to share what they have seen and heard, to expose the hypocrisy and the deception that they have witnessed for years. Christine and Janelle's decision to leave was not just an emotional one, it was a calculated act of financial self-preservation. They saw the writing on the wall, they saw the mounting debts, the reckless spending, the increasingly desperate and erratic behavior of Kody and Robyn. They knew that they were on a sinking ship and they had to get out before they were dragged down with it. Could they have known about the specifics of the rifle fraud? It's impossible to say for sure. But they undoubtedly sensed the underlying dishonesty, the rot at the core of the family's finances. Leaving was their only way to disentangle themselves from the potential legal and financial liability of Kody and Robyn's actions. They were not just escaping a failed marriage, they were escaping a potential crime scene. This single act of alleged fraud, as shocking as it is, does not exist in a vacuum. It is, we believe, the Rosetta Stone that helps to decipher a long history of financial mysteries that have plagued the Brown family for years. Think back to My Sister Wife's Closet, the online jewelry and clothing boutique that was meant to be a collaborative business venture for the four wives. The business was launched with great fanfare but quietly fizzled out, its failure explained away with vague references to market difficulties and logistical challenges. But what really happened to the money that was invested in that business? Where did the inventory go, and why was there so little transparency about its finances? The rifle fraud suggests a pattern of financial mismanagement and potential deception that may have been at play in that venture as well. And what about the move to Flagstaff? A decision that seemed to defy all financial logic. The family purchased an expensive piece of land with no immediate plan or resources to build on it, plunging them into a state of financial chaos. How were they really funding this move? Were there other hidden assets, other inflated appraisals that were being used to secure loans or create a false impression of financial stability? The rifle fraud opens up a Pandora's box of questions about the true state of their finances, suggesting that the picture we have been shown on television is a carefully curated fiction. The legal jeopardy for Kody and Robyn cannot be overstated. Insurance fraud is a felony, and prosecutors take these cases very seriously. To secure a conviction, they would need to prove intent to deceive. And in this case, the evidence of intent is powerful. The vast gulf between the rifle's actual value of $1,500 and its appraised value of $75,000 is not a simple rounding error. It is a deliberate and massive fabrication. The choice of an appraiser who was a personal friend and not a certified expert point to a conscious effort to bypass a legitimate and objective evaluation process. And if our insider reports are correct, and there were conversations about the rifle being a nest egg, that would be a smoking gun, a clear indication of a premeditated plan to defraud the insurance company. The potential penalties are severe. They could be forced to pay restitution to the insurance company for any benefits they received as a result of the fraud. They could face hefty fines, probation, and, in a worst-case scenario, prison time. The conviction would also create a permanent criminal record, a stain on their reputation that would be impossible to erase. And let's not forget the court of public opinion. For a reality television family whose entire livelihood depends on their public image, a felony conviction would be catastrophic. It would be a violation of the morals clause that is standard in most television contracts, giving the network, TLC, the legal grounds to terminate their show immediately. The sister wives' empire, the source of their fame and fortune, could crumble overnight. For the ex-wives, this entire saga is a painful but powerful vindication. For years, they were gaslit, their concerns about finances dismissed as nagging or negativity. They were told to trust Kody, to have faith in his leadership, to believe in the patriarchal vision that he was selling. But their instincts told them that something was wrong. They saw the inequitable distribution of resources, the secretive decision-making, the growing financial chasm between Robyn's household and their own. They felt the instability, the constant anxiety of living on a financial precipice. This investigation confirms that their fears were not unfounded. They were not just being difficult or dramatic, they were responding to a real and present danger. Their decision to leave, to forge their own paths, was an act of profound courage and clarity. They chose financial solvency and personal integrity over the toxic and potentially criminal environment of the Brown family. And in doing so, they have saved themselves from a world of legal and financial trouble. The future of the Brown family, as we know it, is now in serious doubt. The legacy that Kody has spent years trying to build, the idea of a righteous and successful plural family, has been irrevocably shattered. What will this mean for the children, particularly the adult children who have grown up in the shadow of their parents' complicated lives? How will they reconcile the image of the father they knew with the man who is now being accused of being a felonious con man? This scandal has the potential to create new and even deeper divisions within the family, pitting children against parents and siblings against each other. Some may rush to defend Kody, blinded by loyalty or a refusal to accept the ugly truth. Others may feel a profound sense of betrayal, a realization that the foundation of their family was built not on faith and honesty, but on secrets and lies. The fallout from this will be messy and painful, and it will play out for years to come. In the end, the story of the antique firearm appraisal fraud is a story of desperation, ego, and the corrosive power of secrets. It's the story of a man who was so desperate to project an image of wealth and success that he was willing to break the law, and of a family that became a casualty of his ambition. The $75,000 rifle was meant to be a symbol of their prosperity, a testament to their rise from humble beginnings to reality TV royalty. But instead, it has become a symbol of their downfall, a monument to their dishonesty. At COCO Gossip, we will continue to follow this story, to dig for the truth, and to bring you the exclusive reports and insider theories that you will not find anywhere else. The reckoning for Kody and Robyn Brown has begun, and we will be here to document every moment of it. The house of cards is falling, and we are about to find out just how deep the deception really goes.